everybody. I'm Christopher Green, and you're tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television. It is April 6, 2015, and Rolling Stone was just raped by its own story. This story that alleged that a fraternity at the University of Virginia had raped some chick, who turns out to be a lying whore. Yeah, that's right, turns out to be a lying bitch who dragged this entire fraternity and the university through the mud. Alleged that she had been gang raped by this entire group of people turned out to be a total lie. Total and utter bullshit. And Rolling Stone printed it. Not a single editor, not a single part of the managerial structure at Rolling Stone caught this until it was too late. Now they've had to retract the story. It turns out that the journalist, who also was a woman and obviously had an axe to grind, it was pushing forward a feminist agenda, failed to investigate, interview a single corroborating witness, anybody else revolving around this supposed case outside of the chick who turned out to be a lying bitch. Yeah, that's right, a lying whore, who, by the way, destroyed not just the credibility of this university, but destroyed the credibility of this fraternity and those involved. And the question we need to ask as Americans is how and why was this allowed to happen? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because of our politically correct bullshit society. This agenda being pushed, propelled by mainstream media news organizations like CNN. Whether or not it's the Trayvon Martin story, this war against blacks and whites, even though we got a black president, they still push this agenda forward. Whether or not it's a race agenda or it's a sex agenda, as was the case with this particular story. Obviously, this journalist had an axe to grind. She failed to do any investigative work. She failed to be a journalist. The editors involved failed to be editors. The management at Rolling Stone failed to be management. It's a total and utter failure. And you know what tells me? The fact that not a single person has lost their job tells me that the whole company is complicit with this gangbang of a story. Again, who's defending the truth anymore? Who's actually defending the people, the kids, the fraternity, the university that was dragged through the mud? Their character ruined because of this girl. Because she's some crazy chick that has an idea in her head, which turns out to be a total lie. You know, what's really sad about it is it's a disservice to those that are really raped. Women that are really affected by these kinds of heinous acts, men and women. And let me point out, men are also raped. There's many cases, and there's been many cases of men being raped. But nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about men being gang raped. It's only, and they only push a female-driven narrative. This feminist agenda that all men are evil, and because it's a fraternity, and they like to drink beers, and they're loud, etc., and probably play sports, they fall into that stereotype. They must have raped this girl, even though it turned out to be a total and utter lie. Again, nobody's defending the truth anymore. Even when the courts rule in favor of officers like Darren Wilson in the Michael Brown trial, or they rule in favor of George Zimmerman in the Trayvon Martin case, America still isn't satisfied because it doesn't fit their friggin' politically correct agenda. And it's bullshit, folks. We have to look ourselves in the eye. We have to stand up for what is right. We have to share the truth with as many people as possible, and we have to defend it. I'm Christopher Green. Get it out everywhere. Make it viral. Hard hitting it in your face. And click the link below to support our sponsor.